Okay, welcome to a brand new Thales governance call, or a Thales governance call. This time, Optimism Token Distribution Edition, a very exciting topic. We had some preliminary discussion in the, what was it called? The Phase0 OP distribution channel. And as far as I'm concerned, this call is both a continuation of the discussion we had in the channel and for another chance for the community to chime in. We can invite people onto the stage if somebody wants to speak, give input. And I want, because we are facing a deadline, we have to submit a proposal to Optimism until the 20th or the 24th. I'm not entirely sure, but rather short term. And so my goal for today is that we reach at least some kind of conclusion and agreement that we have then to write down into a proper proposal and then post to Optimism. Any objections?
Yeah, it's 24th actually, I think.
24th, okay. I think it would be intelligent, or my opinion is sorry, starting again. I think one of the most the thing where we didn't agree the most on was if we should do some kind of retroactive distribution, or if when we do a continued distribution, if that should have some kind of retroactive element to it. And I would ask I can start if you want, but I would ask the council to give their opinion on it. I try to make it short when I start. My opinion is we should not do a pure retroactive distribution, like giving somebody optimism tokens solely for the fact that they have done something in the past. What I like is, especially for the staking component or staking share we are giving or we are using the OP distribution for, is to have an ongoing, people have to continue an ongoing staking, but we should have some kind of filters, like the wallet has to have voted in at least one council election, Thales Council, Oracle Council, in the past to be eligible for the OP Optimism token distribution. That mustn't be that doesn't have to be the only filter or the only thing that makes the wallet eligible, but it would be a retroactive kind of thing within a continued distribution.
What I'm pivoting mostly now, is with our, it's not that big of an allocation of 900,000 tokens that we are eligible for, to actually consider not having any type of retro allocation, at least for this phase of optimism token distribution, because it's like 900,000 tokens out of 4.5 billion of total supply, and we are kinda notorious for having these developer speed demons that are producing these super quality products, and we have some major products already launched and also coming up, and we are not short of places to put those OP tokens. And I think I can't fit in retro anywhere in there, honestly, to have at least a significant impact on people and not take away too much from the product usage incentives as these OP tokens are, one of the best marketing tools we also have for our current and future products. So that is something that I'm personally pivoting towards currently.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I don't think a retroactive distribution would be necessarily appropriate given the small, I guess small in comparison to the overall supply.
Small depending on how valuable the tokens will be ultimately, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm a bit like confused because I agree with everybody that spoke before me, and I think that the major allocation should be kept for incentives and marketing and things like that. At the same time, I was thinking that like if those people uh, were not there to use the product on optimism, maybe the location wouldn't be there. So maybe it's fair for them to get something. But yeah, I agree that it should be at least a very small amount. Uh, so they don't feel they were robbed. But I want to hear your opinion on this, guys.
So to make sure that I understand you correctly, you are in favor of dust retroactive distribution.
I'm making a point here, like for that maybe this shouldn't happen, but at the same time I'm thinking that like people that use the protocol and help it become like bigger and bigger every day, maybe they are entitled to like a small chunk of this distribution.
Yeah, that is more or less the idea behind my combined proposal, saying, okay, you have to, it is a forward-looking distribution, you have to continue to stake, but it has a backwards-looking component where you say, okay, but you have had to be active in the past. And not just be some mercenary who just bought a bunch of Thales now and will be dumping it the second our distribution ends.
I think this is a great idea. Yeah, it combines both worlds. So yeah, I agree on that.
Yeah, and do we know like exactly how many rounds of distribution are there going to be in the future? Like this is only the beginning, right?
Yeah, there's phase 1 of governance fund distribution that's gonna happen, and the governance fund basically as the phase 0 that we're planning on right now, and then phase 1 has about 5 times the amount of token of phase 0, so 196 million OP tokens to be distributed, and once that governance fund is empty, that ends the governance fund initiated by Optimism.
Yeah, I heard that as well. And the phase 1 distribution gives us much more freedom how we are intending to use it. The phase 0 distribution has some restrictions, so to say.
Yeah, it's also worth noting that any project on Optimism will be able to apply to that phase 1, so most likely have a lot of competition there.
Also, it's like this massive amount of tokens, right?
Yeah.
And when compared to our current allocation, it's it's kind of minuscule, but us as a big proponent for optimism and one of the we are one of the, if not the most active development-wise project on optimism, and with all our push for optimism on every side, like on every third party and everything, I also think that we will push for the next phase also. So right now I think like this current distribution of 900,000 that we are eligible for, it's difficult to know right now, where every single token will go, since everything is so fluid with our products and our needs. Everything is constantly changing and everything, and we can't know for sure where we will, get the best results from that far into the future when the token is actually in our treasury to be distributed and everything. So this proposal until the 24th shouldn't be, I think it's not supposed to be like 100% accurate and law abiding, so to say, but it should just show our sentiment and our way of thinking, and basically, just to have a proposal out there mainly for our community, so they can get a glimpse of how we are thinking and what are we looking to incentivize when we actually get the tokens. But going into precision here is not really optimal, so to say. But to stay on topic on retroactive, I still think that maybe we should hold on to those thoughts for any maybe potentially future phase. And now it's like those retroactive stuff does not have that much effect, and most of the community already have their retro allocation from the optimism, their own allocation and stuff like that. So I'm not sure how much impact we will have with the retro bucket from this 900,000.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
I'm not sure if how much work it needs to be done around it and everything. So yeah, I guess that's what we are here to discuss, though, right?
I mean, an idea would be to just didn't do anything, like a retroactive drop, whatever, and we can have something like a multiplier if we want to reward like those active users in the future, something like similar to the staking, to the gamified staking thing Phase has. So yeah.
Pat, just you pointed something out. I think today in this call we are not discussing the exact wording for the proposal. That would be kind of silly, in my opinion. So I agree with you, and I think we agreed beforehand already that the proposal will be not vague, but not go into each and every single detail. This call today, for at least this was what I imagined, this call would be, is that we agree on the details, not that because, so that we already have a common understanding what we will be doing with those tokens, even if we're not writing it in that detail to optimism, because there was some disagreements, and I think now is a good chance to iron those disagreements out. But to summarize it, I think because nobody else spoke up, and everyone who spoke up was in favor of not giving pure retroactive distributions, then I can, or I to nail it down, is the council decides that we will have no pure retroactive distribution in the Phase0 OP distribution we are getting. Any disagreement?
No.
No. Okay, great. So this is we have 1 point nailed down. Okay. Let me think of it. What was another big? Oh, the shares. In what share we are distributing the tokens? So I think a common agreement was that. Oh, Millie is coming on stage. Millie, do you want to chime in on the retroactive thing, or do you want to chime in on the share part?
Yeah, no, I'm totally on board with what you guys are saying with the retroactive. I think we should incentivize the products.
Yeah. The share-wise was, as far as I have seen it, and I agree with it, is that the bulk of the Phase0 distribution should go to product usement, similar to what we are doing with gamified staking, but not gamified staking, like directly distribution for people who are using exotic markets, sports markets, normal AMM, and we can either discuss the share, how big the share should be to active product use, or I think what's maybe even more interesting discussion is how big are the shares within those active usage? Because I saw somebody making the argument that we should. Oh, Millie, it was Millie who was saying we should distribute the most part through sports markets and stuff like that. Maybe you want to jump in right here, Millie.
Yeah, sure. So I think there's a couple of things. Like, I think if we're gonna incentivize future use, we should really be very flexible in how you decide to do that. So even when we map out the proposal, it should be very flexible and leave room for like changes according to like how these products go. Because the sports market still hasn't launched yet, but I really think the sports market is probably going to be Thales' strongest product. That's personally that's my prediction. The only reason why I say that is because in terms of the crypto options, there's just so many crypto options out there, and like the thing with Oracle-based options, like how Thales has an order book, I'm sorry, an AMM, is that if we were to heavily incentivize the use on those, I'm not saying we shouldn't incentivize it, but if we were going to heavily incentivize the use on those, what you would normally get is users coming in and trying to get stale prices, and they'll be very incentivized to bring in a lot of traffic, and that traffic will mainly be toxic in terms of stale pricing or stale IV on the AMM. So I think we should be very careful in incentivizing too much on those. And then whereas with exotic markets and with the sports markets, I think the sports market in particular, because there's no other project out there that has that, it's going to have a lot of usage, and we should really try and bootstrap that usage as much as possible. And the other suggestion I would make is, one of the big issues we have is with the AMM is that the LPs are at risk of getting wrecked. What we could do is try and maybe bring back the order book a little bit and maybe incentivize, liquidity on the order books. And that would just remove a whole bunch of risk from LPs and make the product, UX a lot better. So I think, that's probably a possibility, especially for the sports markets. If we could incentivize an order book system, it would be a little bit more difficult to implement, but I think that'd be a great way to sort of use one of our older products, but incentivize liquidity on that in a way that it doesn't bring toxic flow, but brings a good UX for the users and for the LPs. So I know that's what I would think, and I would say we should probably be a little bit flexible in how we decide to go about it, and maybe not commit too much. But overall, I would say we should allocate a much smaller portion towards the options, the crypto options, than towards the exotics or the sports market that's to come. And again, the main reason I'll just reiterate one more time is because there's so many crypto options, and the fact that for someone to come and Lyra is also going to be incentivizing options, right? So the main reason why anyone would come and for that incentive on dailies at that point would be they'll be heavily incentivized to produce traffic, and that traffic they'll be incentivized to try and get the best pricing, and the best pricing would be toxic flow at stale IV or stale prices on the Oracle at the detriment of the LPs. That's why I think we should really be strategic how we use it. And since it's a small allocation, probably not smart to put too much into the crypto options, in my opinion.
Yeah, I guess it all depends on the execution also. So since we don't have yet a clear public picture on how the sport markets will even look like or behave, we have something about exotic markets. We have it launched and everything, but yeah, it all depends on how do we plan on executing these, and that's not a trivial discussion to have. What mechanism do you use to incentivize future use? While we know a lot of protocols that try incentivizing usage, trading, mining, or whatever it's called, that whatever can be gamed will be gamed. So on the initial discussion on how to incentivize protocol usage, my first comment was that the most brain power should be put towards minimizing the possibility for it to be gamed and to have that toxic OP token farming without providing any sustainable, activity on Thales protocol. Not, we want to work on user retention, but we want to capture their initial, we want to capture the initial interest by usage of OP tokens as a reward. But then we need like a system where it won't be like gamed and oversaturated by mercenaries, and where we want to retain as much users and to bootstrap, ignite the Thales products, So as much eyes as possible, to get as much eyes as possible towards our products, while kinda mitigating the risk of getting gamed is what I'm aiming at. And now the question of like how to distribute between each product, it's still difficult to kinda pinpoint. And for this initial proposal, I think maybe the best would be to just have a bulk percentage towards protocol usage without specifying like how much of that bucket will go towards what product of Thales, because that is something really hard to tell people right now, community or optimism or whatever. And we should like just stick to like have this amount, like this bucket, this big chunk of 900,000 will go towards Thales protocol users, and that's it. While like pinpointing now which market, which like product should get how much specifically is a difficult thing. And I think that talk should be a bit further down the line to specify into more details. But
I can live with that, yeah. Yeah, I can live with that. So, like saying, for example, 50% goes to product use, 25 to staking, 25 to LPing, or even 60% and then 2020. If we can agree on something on that detail level, that would be enough for now, and then we figure out the details later.
So guys, since I have to drop in like 2 minutes, and I apologize for that, but gotta babysit. I think you are on the right track. I don't feel I need to meddle too much. I would like to address Miller's point that we shouldn't, as he put it, incentivize crypto options too much. I think Thales is quite unique. I don't think it's comparable with Lyra or anything out there, especially with range markets coming out. I'm not sure if there's any other protocol that offers that in such a manner. So I definitely think it's our flagship product right now. I'm also excited about Exotic, obviously, but also going back to your other point with order book, my feeling, throughout everything we have been through is that order books just don't work in DeFi right now. It's just too tedious to set up orders, see if they are filled, be available to cancel it if the odds shift on you. So I think AMM is far superior to that, and it's really, as I said, our flagship and something we should nurture. There would be mercenaries, but what's not mercenary farming in DeFi? I'm pretty sure some would stick even if they come as mercenary, and we would have a lot of fees from all that trading, even if they try to just farm by buying both sides. I'm pretty sure the fees from that might be very good for the protocol. And regarding sports AMM, obviously I'm very very excited about that, but yeah, we're yet to see where that takes us. So it's not really, in my opinion, possible to say right now that that might be more important to the protocol or less. I think everything is important in a sense, but AMM, current AMM or crypto options and ranged AMM is something that's ready. I feel a lot of people. I mean, last 3 days we had like massive volume to a point that AMM didn't have any more SUSD to market make, to mint options, and to just offer to buyers. So that was, and it's kind of organic because there was no farming right now. So that definitely something that I think is gonna bring a bright future to Thales. And with that said, again, sounds like council is on the right track, and I'm happy to just go with what you guys decide.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to, forgot to, before you answer, Millie, I forgot to reply to you. And I wanted to say I could get behind everything you said, but not behind the order book. For me, the order book is dead. I'm not planning to revive it anytime soon. So echoing what Daniel said.
Yeah, it's order books like, especially like now, 1inch and Optimism are notoriously unreliable, so to say. And like whenever we had some, frequent interaction with it, it often, broke down, had these bugs where we need to
I
apply
mean,
1inch and
sorry,
everything.
Patch, but it's there, right? Right now, and ever since we released on Optimism, order book is available, and we haven't seen the trade in like 2 or 3 months. And nothing stops people from trading. And UX on the order book is pretty amazing. Like the front end devs put a lot of effort into it, and there hasn't been a single trade. So that's where the conversation, without trying to be like a dick or whatever, that's where it ends, in regards to order book future.
Fair enough. I should have specified. I didn't mean order books for the crypto options at all. I actually meant order books for potentially like exotic markets, the open bid exotic markets, and for potentially the sports AMMs. The reason why I just say that, I'm personally, I like AMMs way better. But the reason I say that is because maybe for those markets it might be better implementation. And that's why I kind of agree with Pads that we should be very flexible and not commit too much onto like a certain like strict distribution in that sense. But yeah, I definitely didn't mean for the crypto options. I 100% meant order books for down the line potentially for the exotic markets or the sports markets. Because I know you mentioned a few times how like the basically on like from poly market, like the LPs are very much at risk on a lot of these
Yeah,
positional.
definitely. But that's, with exotic, Thales has zero risks. Like apart from you guys rewarding, potential disputers by not slashing the creator, blah blah. But that's gonna be less and less. Uh, Exotic markets are like pure win for the protocol without any risk, and that's the pari-mutual aspect. But the UX suffers because you don't know the odds you're getting. It's just AMM is superior UX. That said, exotic definitely has its fit. I mean, we've seen the Bangkok, elections. I'm sure there will be more things like that. But with the sports AMM, we actually do have the odds fit. So the same approach that we have for crypto options, AMM with odds is applicable. We could, and the peer to peer or like pari-mutual aspect can still kick in. That's what we have with our skew impact. So it's like a mixture of both. And I'm sorry to abandon you. Like I don't want to be rude, but I just got around. So thanks.
All good, all good.
All good, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I guess I didn't understand as much about the upcoming sports market. So yeah. But yeah, that makes sense.
No, but the input is much appreciated, Millie. I think you're one of the most active people in our community, and I see where you're coming from. Looking at the time, I try to be more time efficient now. I think if somebody or if anybody in the community wants to chime in on maybe the exact distribution, even if we are not agreeing on the exact distribution now. Otherwise, I would like to call out Ramblers and invite him to, in a few words, reiterate his dynamics idea, because I think that was a very interesting suggestion that he made. I see, Ducky, you have been unmuting. Do you want to chime in? If you want to say something, we don't hear you. Yeah, that's governance manipulation. We are muting people who disagree. Let's give him a few seconds to join in again.
I'll take the stage in the meantime. So looking at the OP tokens
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hear you. Great.
All right. I thought I was talking for like a couple of minutes already, and nobody listened to me anyway. So I just wanted to chip in just to reiterate some of the thoughts that were put in. I'm pretty much for volume-based incentives across all our flagship products. I was thinking whether we could also add some modifiers to those users of the products that are also stakers. So it's sort of like a partial retro bonus, not necessarily retro. It's forward-looking retro if you're a user and a staker as well. So that was sort of my thought.
I also like the idea of having like multipliers for people that voted for council elections previously or anything like that. It's just a matter of execution and overhead, and to balance those with the final impact. That is kind of the main question here. Like, does that sounds cool, but does that require too much work? So we don't we have to hit a pause on something maybe more major from our developers, and just stuff like that. It needs to be balanced, but yeah, but having like larger rewards for people that retroactively participated in the Thales community, like in a more active and contributing way, would be super cool. And there is also a question of how to calculate the total amount that can be emitted if you chime in some bonus on top. Like maybe some regular user can get 1x, and how do you calculate the total emissions if someone can get 3x bonus or 2x bonus?
Yeah,
Those
that's one of the reason
complications,
why I don't like the bonus idea, because it's super complex, and I know how busy the development team is, and in general, even for understanding for the casual user, I don't want to overcomplicate the system. And one part is I don't want to rug any part of our community. So I don't want to rug stakers, pure stakers even. I don't want to rug pure liquidity providers. And I don't want to rug pure traders who are using the product. So they are all important parts of our protocol and our community.
And it's always in the back of my mind that this is not that big of an allocation, 900,000, and compared to what Perp got 9 million or something like that, along those lines. And always think how this is only an initial allocation that is distributed over some metrics that are retroactive looking, and we have the opportunity to propose to get a much larger distribution to us if we play the phase 1 right. And that's also something I mean, maybe the most optimal thing we can do for this initial bag is to keep it simple and just focus on the major points, which are protocol usage, Thales ETH LP, and maybe staking, and a small proportion towards the grants and marketing bucket. And just keep it simple for this initial one, and that's it. I mean, I'm kind of pivoting towards that. Maybe that's my lazy blood talking mostly, but I don't know. That's kind of what I'm favoriting for. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree that the more important distribution is the second one, the phase 1. I think it's important that the phase 0 distribution doesn't suck. So as simple as that. Because I think there is quite a marketing effect if we are putting off an attractive phase 0 distribution to our community, which then hopefully draws in more people, especially then for phase 1, saying, okay, the Thales phase 0 distribution was good and it was fair, it was worthwhile. Let's continue using Thales. But yeah, let's keep it simple. I'm absolutely for that.
Okay, I'd like to say something as well. I'm not too sure about the multiplier for the voters, mainly because that rugs all the LPs. As long as if we do something like that, that our LP and like you said, BP, like users that are in staking are rewarded as there's three main pillars of our our protocol, right? We have the stakers, the single site staking, the LPs, which are super important, and then the user, which is just as important. So I feel if we were to reward only the single site staking via the voting multiplier, then I feel we're not rewarding the community properly, especially LPs have been taking such a huge risk in the past, looking at the price action of our token. I feel really bad too.
Maybe I haven't made it clear enough. I would veto any kind of multiplier in Phase0 distribution. Just saying. So if there's somebody, a big proponent, it's now time to discover or convince me why a multiplier would be super fun in the Phase0 distribution. So don't worry, Red, at least concerning myself.
Alright, as long as it's concerning you, we're good.
Yeah, I'm the one talking the most. Looking in the community, nobody raises their hands. To be honest, I have no time to look at chat right now, so if somebody could have an eye on chat, if there are interesting questions or input. That would be much appreciated.
Yeah, Cyberdog's just saying he's still got Mike's issue, but I think he's aiming to the point here to just keep it simple, right? Kind of in the essence that Lyra did. It's 3 main point. Here you go. I don't remember the percentage, but let's say 25, 25, 50, and then we can focus more on specifics after, especially we don't want to take too much time away from the dev, especially with the products that are coming out, and the time they're spending right now is super valuable. So if we want all things to run smoothly in the future here, I think we should keep this pretty simple. I do love I know Rambler hasn't spoken on this yet, but I do love his dynamic idea as well. And rewarding the protocol usage based on the flexibility metric, whatever it is. And then that we can incorporate all the option AMM exotics and sports market, and then based on where the actual volume is, we can reward based on that. I think would be a great solution.
Yeah, that exactly, because like Pat mentioned earlier, it's difficult to now determine something or agree on something. But Rambler's dynamics proposal is we would pretty much start out with an even distribution over all of our products, and then by whatever metric we are, volume probably, we are deciding on, we are dynamically shifting the amount of rewards towards each product, and it would be a fun or nice benchmark, and I'm sure that Leifu would create wonderful Dune analytics charts for us to review later.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of doing a dynamic approach. I know that a couple changes have been made to Daniel's proposal, talking about it. I would still like to see, the bucket for the stakers, if that goes down from 20 to 10, and then the bucket for the traders goes down from 40 to 30, and then that gives us 20% to adjust and double up on rewards or extend rewards for sports markets or whatever we see is working during that process. Another thing I had brought up was when we had a bucket allocated to the treasury, was taking that away if we didn't reach a certain active user metric, if we didn't hit that. But seeing how the treasury bucket went away, that's not really needed. And then yesterday I just kind of threw something out there, and it sounds like it was just discussed before, but is there any thought to maybe delaying the entire program, letting other projects kind of onboard liquidity, bring users onto Optimism, and then we kind of go full scale when nobody else is? I know that there's certainly some game theory on getting, attaching our project to the hype when everything launches, but are we really, or would we be better off waiting and letting other people's buckets of these tokens dry up, and then we throw our 900,000 tokens 3 months later when people are on optimism? That was something that I was kind of thinking of last night, and I didn't really see much discussion on that. I think you said that somebody had brought that up before, but I didn't see that.
Yeah, we are discussing so many times about it. Maybe two things. Want to preface one thing you mentioned. I think the dynamic you're suggesting is only sensible or sensibly implementable for the product usage parts. I would not like to see dynamic within LPing and staking, because I have no idea if you could reasonably compare activity there to market usage other than within the market usage itself. That would would make more sense. Sorry. And now, because of your idea, I can't tell you. I don't know. Don't remember where it was discussed. But Milky Way has been remembering the same thing like I did, and it was Daniel who told us that optimism. I think Daniel approached them, and Optimism told us, no, you're not allowed to withhold your distribution. We would like to see you distribute this bucket 100% to the community. Okay, I understand that there's we could go lawyer mode there and interpret it and say, yeah, we will be distributing 100% to the community just 3 months later than anybody else. But looking at the phase 1 distribution, I think we have some kind of responsibility to give them a more or less a performance report. What have we done with it ultimately? And we would have probably an issue if we at that point didn't distribute anything.
Yeah, I'm positive there will be some coordination with Optimism together with every eligible project, since the goal of this whole story is to bootstrap usage of Optimism network and to bootstrap every project on Optimism, because projects Optimism is relying on Optimism native projects for its success. And I don't think, I think that we will need to, it's better for everyone if we, coordinate and play ball and get the maximum, impact all together, because I think that will also yield the best results for us. Because if we all work together towards, success of Optimism, in a big hype wave, so to say, I think that's best for everyone here, and I mean everyone as in every project. And yeah, but that's kind of my thinking.
Yeah, you guys are all making great points. I wasn't, excuse me, I wasn't set on that. I just wanted to have that conversation, see if there's anything that I might have been missing. I think the biggest thing for me when I was looking more into it last night was not knowing what other drops they're going to be doing, or grants, or the number 2 airdrop that they would do. So I wasn't sure. Like, there's so many things that are surrounding that it probably makes it not worth exploring at all. But I wanted to bring it up anyways, given it's kind of part of a dynamic approach of when we're dropping and how much we're dropping.
Yeah. Milky Way, somebody who knows a lot about marketing, was disagreeing with you. I have to be honest. From my gut feeling, I was agreeing with you, with saying, okay, now we are probably with our meagerly 900k OP tokens, we are maybe be swept under the rug or in the shadow of everyone else, and we could try to jump into the spotlight when everybody else already distributed their tokens. Daniel had another good argument against it. Right now, what we are the horizon we are looking for is kind of like a quarter, 3 months, as far as I know. And there are projects who have like 6-month distribution schedules. So there will be no downtime where we could more or less steal the spotlight from everybody. Anyway, the point is moot. It's not allowed anyway.
Yeah, I also like the 20 weeks kept appearing in the initial gut feeling plan from Daniel, and that's kind of the number that is on the sweet spot for me also, to have this distribution in the span of like what, 3 months, like 20 weeks, depending on like where, like for what we use it for, at least for stakers and liquidity providers of Thales ETH liquidity. 20 weeks is kind of the sweet spot for the initial program. And if we are lucky and we are not over with our entitled, OP token distribution, we can just keep complementing it and devising plans around it. And if something is not done in an optimal way with this initial bucket, we have more chances, So yeah, but I would like to take this talk to another topic of out of 900,000, how to distribute those among four main buckets, which are Red shared them on the chat: single size takers, Thales ETH liquidity providers, protocol usage, and the marketings and grants. Daniel was kinda on point with the weights of those distribution, but we need to kind of discuss and streamline it, because this initial proposal will mostly revolve around those numbers, those four buckets. So what you guys think, like a ratio would, like what ratio would be the most optimal between those four buckets?
I want the others to speak first in this case, but I want to ask somebody to please link Daniel's draft proposal in the chat so everybody can read up on it, because I see we haven't posted it.
Yeah, I posted it earlier. You guys can scroll up a bit. Thanks, Pat. Yeah, so looking at the current bucket, what we got right now is 20% for Thales stakers, 40%, 30% for LPs, 40% for protocol usage, and 10% for grants and marketing. The only one I would leave without touching is the grant one at 10%. But I would personally reduce staking to 10%, reduce LPs to 20%, and increase protocol usage up to 60%. That's just me.
I have to be honest with you, I missed that totally because I was scrolling.
Yeah, no worries. So for daily stakers, bring it down from 20 to 10%. I think stakers should be rewarded, but I think they get rewarded decently enough at the moment. So I don't think they need 180,000 OP tokens. LP is more important, in my opinion, than single staking at the moment. So reducing it from 30 to 20, and then increasing protocol usage from 40 to 60%. As I don't know, feel like the discussion we've been having today is really, we want to reward usage of our protocol, and yeah, I feel 60% is a nice chunk of change for us to really allow us to have that flexibility and move rewards around, and then keeping the 10% for grants.
I disagree with that. I would like to leave it like Daniel suggested it. But now it's interesting what everyone else says.
Yeah, so there are a few intricacies to consider here. First of all, everything regarding the incentives towards token function, so to say, is a function of how much will OP token be worth. And that is something that we can't have an effect on. And there is also the question of the balance between LP incentives and single size staking incentives, because you don't want to create an environment where people are incentivized to unstake, and that would be a nightmare. Because if we throw if we throw it off too much out of balance and people see that the most lucrative thing they can do to farm OP tokens is to LP Thales, then like we don't want to see this mass exodus of stakers. But I do agree that maybe 20% to stakers, like passive stakers, is not a value add and should be reduced. But maybe like to like 5,000 OP tokens per week for 20 weeks should be enough just to spice up single size staking a bit, while LP providers should maybe go with like, instead of 30%, I will put like 25%. During these, times of Thales token, I came to realize that, unfortunately, like the token itself is the main marketing tool and the main hype tool for a project. And yeah.
So in my proposal, reducing from 20 single staker to 10% and reducing LPs from 30 to 20%, it actually increased LPs and doubled the reward. Right now, single staker is 60% of LPs reward, so we're in line with what we've been saying as. Actually, no, we're not. It goes from 60% to 50% of like LP's reward. I think it's plenty, and then I don't know if we want to. I don't know. I don't think 40% is enough for protocol usage. Is kind of my gut feeling.
If we're reducing the staking amount, then I have to demand that we are filtering, that we are in fact doing like what I suggested earlier. Say, okay, we are allocating this only to people who have staked in the who have voted, for example, in one of our governance elections, or Oracle or Thales Council in the past, and continue to stake. Because otherwise, I'm afraid we're reducing it to such a small amount that the OP distribution we are giving will be dust to especially not our whale stakers. And I want to incentivize and I want to reward people who are staking the token, and especially who are staking it for a prolonged time, and even more especially people who have participated in governance. And the only metric we are having there, they have voted at least once in one of our elections.
But that's unfair. Like, voting was so long ago. The Oracle Council was the last one, and then like all the new users that want to come and stake, then they single site stake. They're not getting those rewards.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty unfair.
This is why I'm against reducing it to 10%. Why we need to have a decent sized bucket in single site staking, but that we can spread it across everyone who's currently staking.
Yeah, I guess like maybe the sweet spot could be to have like a half for like product usage, have like 50% for 150,000 OP tokens towards product usage, keep the 10% towards the grants and marketing budget. So we got 60 out of the way, and 40% are left for the token incentives to kind of award those type of buckets, and we could do those with like I think having 100,000 for stakers is good, to have like 5,000 per week for 20 weeks, around that number, and that would maybe be like 12% of the total allocation. Maybe we can bump that up to like 14% and have 26% towards LPers, and that is also in balance with current ratio of APR, which is like where LP incentives are twice the number of single site staking. So this proportion of OP tokens complement that also. So that is kind of maybe what I like at the moment, to have like maybe. But it's tricky. I mean, and in the end, I'm sure like these will be insignificant, differences from our proposals, because again, always have to keep reminding me that this is not that grand of an allocation. that we are discussing right now, and these will be more important to discuss further down the line.
Yeah, but I think what you said earlier is so, and you can read the chat. Daniel is kind of agreeing. It is so important to not give any incentive to unstake.
Yeah.
It is we. I know that we can say LPS took more risk. We can say we like it more when people use our product. I agree with that. But we have to not underestimate and undervalue our staking. I think sometimes we're too much focused on API, on money in this case, and it's kind of ironic because I'm making an argument for receiving rewards right now. But single site staking, let's not call it like that. This is our governance we are talking about. Only people who are staking on our contract are eligible to vote. This is our core foundation of this protocol, at least for the governance. And I think this is extremely important and should be treated as such and not as a free money bucket and people are taking no risk. I understand that. Maybe we should work on tokenomics in the future, having that maybe something more long-term. It has some risk component to it, whatever. We can. This is a different discussion, but we cannot undervalue and belittle our stakers because they are the core foundation of our protocol governance.
Yeah, definitely. And with the many products popping up on top of Thales, I mean, as volume will increase, especially with bootstrapping OP tokens, we're also like the talks about sharing something with stakers from those products is also in full effect. So yeah, there are also plenty important stuff happening for single site staking also. It's not, we shouldn't underestimate single site staking, so to say, but also we need to balance it out. And right now the balance is okay. It's organically it's LP incentives are twice as lucrative as single side staking, and for a reason. And I think we should also focus around those numbers when talking about OP buckets. So yeah, I mean, regarding Daniel's idea, it's all around okay, but maybe we should reduce the stakers at least by 5% to like 15% and get the LP incentives maybe to stay the same, 30%. Have 15% and have like just 5% from stakers routed towards additional protocol usage, and have protocol usage maybe 45%.
My compromise would be if we reduce stakers 5%, I want to reduce the liquidity providers 5%, not as a like to pit them against each other, but to say okay, then we have like half of the bucket goes to protocol usage, and this is something we can only distribute as that. We can only distribute 100%, and while I'm defending Thales stakers, people know I'm a large governance proponent. Governance is super important to me. I want to see half of the bucket go to protocol usage, and I think if we reduce both liquidity providing and staking by 5%, we can reach those 50% for the protocol usage.
Yeah, but also keep in mind that like we are all like many years into crypto and DeFi, and we all know like the majority of influx of new people and new faces and new interest comes from token dynamics. Like that is the truth that many of us don't like, but it is how it is, And if we get the token stuff right, it will also serve as a good tool towards getting new people eyes on Thales and getting from marketing to exposure to trying out all the products we have live or will be going live. So
but isn't the 10% among others part of that to like direct people towards the other buckets?
You mean the 10% toward grants and marketing?
Yeah, it's for marketing incentives.
Those
we're making a marketing argument.
That bucket is for campaigns and grants for builders. That is kind of different, but I'm talking about pure like exposure and spotlight for Thales. That can also be the effect of if we do LP incentives right and combine them with a well-balanced, size taking. That's all I'm saying.
But I'm not convinced that those 5% more or less will really improve our liquidity. It's issue. This is actually truly something that we probably should mainly focus on, or one thing we should really focus on in the phase 1 distribution, because we have then enough tokens to have like a
And all I'm saying that I would personally be against reducing the LP bucket, honestly. But yeah, and also everything is a function of OP token like market dynamics, which are impossible to know, and in like whoever says that he expect this and that, it's not possible to know anything about it until it happens, and the impact of these incentives is closely tied to that, unfortunately. So
Milky Way for saying 15% staking, 20% LP. I think you disagree with even more. I want Pat. Sorry, I know when I say I talk too much, everyone knows that, but even you talk too much, which is funny. I want to hear Mr. Breakout, especially. I think you didn't say anything until now, and would like your input.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, great. Okay, so I think the dense distribution is what I agree. Maybe like we could increase the usage of the protocol. We could drop the stakers but I want to drop the LPs at the same time with the stakers as well. I want to balance between the stakers and the LPs. And then I'm thinking maybe Optimism will reward the Gelato users, right? So maybe LPs will get something additional from that site as well. So that's question mark again for the future.
But an extremely good point, you're right. They are very likely receiving a distribution from the Gelato side as well. And I like the balance thing. This is actually my personal opinion as well. I like to have a balance between stakers and LPs.
And about the retro, I think all of the Optimism users are getting some kind of airdrop, right? Like at least more than 0, right? So like they're already getting rewarded as a like a retro airdrop. So I think we don't need to do it in protocol level. So we just give to future users. I think that makes more sense for us.
Mm-hmm. Did somebody deafen Mr. Breakout?
So like for the retro,
yeah,
I agree with you guys.
Can somebody undeafen Mr. Breakout, please? I don't have the permission.
This is weird. I'm not sure how it happened.
Yeah, I don't see the option.
I disconnect him. So he realized that something is up. Yeah, it's reverse censorship, Ducky. We are not prohibiting him from speaking, we're prohibiting him from hearing.
I'll invite him back.
Hey, you... Oh, damn, he's still deafened. How do we undeafen? Yeah, Sarah deafened.
weird.
Okay, somebody should write in chat. Mr. Breakout.
Okay, I think I lost my hearing.
Yeah. I think so too.
Yeah.
Wait. I
What?
don't see an
Let
option.
me exit and connect again.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no option.
Thales console should have admin permissions.
Yeah, but it's not there. The option's not there.
Admins don't have this option, so I don't know how to.
Yeah, I sent him in the end.
It's probably just Daniel. He's trolling us. The server owner.
At least you hear his point. I really agree with his retro distribution point. And Gelato, proposal hasn't been out from them yet, right?
Gelato, do they even... Wait.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
Where's
check.
the spreadsheet?
Opening it now. Gelato, they have... Yeah, they only have 300,000 token. It's not much. They might have... Yeah, not much. We're getting as many... At the moment, per Dan's proposal, 30% to LPs, that's 270,000 OP tokens. So that's exactly as much as Gelato got. So they got 300,000. We'd be giving 270,000 to LPs per Dan's proposal. So yeah, I don't think Gelato might matter, but I mean it's really not much, I guess.
It's not completely in our responsibility anyway, but
yeah,
it's a point to be made, and I think it's a valid point, and it's maybe something that can convince pets to have maybe like some flexibility concerning the LPs.
I mean, yeah, we can, but I don't know, 1 million TVL for Thales token is really, below my expectations. And now finally we have a chance to kind of, without hurting the Thales token too much and without getting back to us, we have a shot at incentivizing more liquidity to come in. But again, I mean, these are talks about 5-10% out of 900,000, which are a function of the market of the OP token and everything else. And I mean, I'm okay with anything, honestly. I'm not propagating. I'm not like fighting for anything here. I just don't want to undermine how important the liquidity is. But yeah, like, I mean, everything that is revolving remotely close around the ratio that Daniel wrote, I will be okay with in the end.
To be honest, I as well. This is why I think my only wish is that we reach like half, 50% for protocol usage, and that we're not taking it exclusively from stakers. If we are not reaching 50%, then I feel I'm pretty unflexible on rugging anyone in that case.
Yeah, we can do like 15-25 with stakers and LP stakers, and 10% towards the grants, and 50 goes to
I like that
bucket. Yeah, that is like maybe the simplest one, and we proved our point that we value the protocol usage the most, which is also cool, but we are also getting an impact on increasing token liquidity, rewarding stakers. So yeah, I think that can maybe.
And it will be very supportive of pushing a big chunk towards both LP and especially protocol usage again in the Phase 1 distribution then. And because we can then make it way more intelligent. This is like a stupid distribution, really simple. Just giving a share to anyone without any dynamics, without anything else, and the Phase 1 distribution will like the big brain one where I definitely will be pushing for Rambler's idea with having dynamics and stuff like that. It's important, I think. But thank you. Glad that we could reach this. Ducky wanted to write something. If few cents worth and percentage years, there's irrelevant. Yeah, exactly. I think this is why I'm not comfortable with. I'm answering to Cyberduck right now. He says if OP token is only a few cents worth, then percentage here and there is irrelevant. And I think Phase0 is a nice test run to see how much OP token will be worth. And I think this gives us also a lot of information that we'll be using for the Phase1 distribution then. And I think it will probably look pretty different.
Yeah, so are we all cool with 15, 25, 50, and 10?
Yes, for me.
Yeah.
Cool. So,
Yes, for me.
regarding the going ahead with this, I will be, as a strategist, I will be looking into this governance proposal template, and will be banging up some initial draft in the way that Perp and Lyra and everyone else did it. It will be super simple and straight to the point, with emphasis on what we value the most, and we'll share with you guys plenty of time ahead of schedule. We have exactly 2 weeks to deploy this proposal in their forum, just to claim these. So yeah, I will work on the draft and share with you guys in the appropriate channels in no time. Shouldn't take long. It will mostly be copy pasta of Daniel stuff.
Yeah. I try to get Mr. Breakout to hear something again.
Yeah.
No, I can't even via the permissions tab.
Yeah, like me and Red can't even undeafen him on the server scale, so I'm not sure what's going on here.
Stole Dan Rug.
Hello? Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Oh, you're here.
Yeah.
Did Daniel do it? I called it.
The other co-founder that we don't talk about.
Yeah, he has no power here. He made sure that he has no power here himself. Yeah, I think I want to look into the chat. Yeah, Sylvia, we know this, and I didn't have this option there, and as it looked like Pats didn't have it as well. Maybe we have a permission issue here, and Sylvia is too powerful. Anyway. Looking into the chat, I don't see any question, any input. Looking to the voice chat, does anyone from the community come on the stage, give their input, have any more ideas, questions, or anything? Can either come on the stage or write your question in the chat.
Please don't propose selling it on a.
No, Alan. We're not going the Alan round.
Hey.
I think I'm okay. Good. I can hear you guys.
Yeah. We posted for you what we were suggesting or agreeing on, and I think you agreed as well. Or do you agree with it? Like 50% stakers, 25% liquidity providers, 50% protocol usage, and 10% for the grants bucket. Okay, now he's muted. Oh boy. Maybe he has technical difficulties. That could be as well.
Either way, it was a productive meeting.
Yeah.
It was far too long. Missed you guys.
Yeah, it was really far too long.
You